Brother John is not a welcome man at Tynecastle Park. Welcome back to Fog Football. Hearts have released a statement on the Scottish Cup semi-final between Hearts and Aberdeen, in which the Jambos lost 2-1. But thankfully for us, and thankfully for the safety of everyone, Jambo Bear, he's on the night shift tonight, so he can't run wild, brother. But I'm here, and I'm going to talk about what Hearts have released, because they released a statement. A website statement. Hearts say the SFA's key match incident reviews of video assistant referee decisions do not bear out the often quoted claim that decisions balance out over the season. And I quote, "A cursory glance at the KMI key match incident review panel published reports show that we have benefited once from errors in our favours. The joint second lowest in the Premiership and have suffered 4 errors against. The joint second highest in the Premiership." End of quote. So, even out across the season, mistakes happen, folks. Right? We're not, we're not brain dead. We can all figure that out. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, at the end of the season, one team is definitely going to be at the top of that, and one team's going to be at the bottom of that. That's just the way football works. Even if VAR was done to the best of its abilities, one team would still appear to come out on top over the others, and one team would appear to get screwed more than the others, right? But I'll actually stick up for Hearts here. They have been on the end of a bunch of bogging decisions. You may be hearing, oh, you're just greeting the Diet Huns. Well, try this one on for size. Clinton and Salah pushed, whoever it was, I can't remember, but he definitely pushed the Hearts man in the 3-1 game at Tynecastle a couple of weeks ago. Well, I say a couple of weeks ago, actually. That was like Clement's second last game, wasn't it? So it was probably a wee bit longer than that. But yeah, because it was back in February, I remember. I was on a road trip. Roadhouse. So yeah, that's a decision that went in favour of my team. And for me, Hearts did get screwed there, because not only should it have been a penalty, Rangers went up the pitch and scored straight from it. So that's a massive decision in that game. There was a decision earlier on the season. Another decision against Rangers in the 0-0, and there's been other decisions against Hearts throughout the season, and none other than this game against Aberdeen. So I can feel why Hearts have been undone by, felt hard done by, sorry. Absolutely, and the stats that they're at the bottom in terms of favour against, and then they're at the top. They're the joint second lowest from benefiting from all these errors, but they're the second highest in terms of the teams that have suffered the most errors against. Be interested to see who would be the team with the most errors against. Couldn't really hazard a guess at that. Now, the club went on to say, "It is the club's view that neither yellow card issued to Cammy Devlin in the match was warranted, and we should not have been put in the position of having to finish the game with 9 men, which directly affected the outcome. Saturday came on the back of other decisions this season that have also not gone in our favour. Once again, we will engage with the Scottish FA in an attempt to understand why these decisions are made, see acknowledgement as to when they are indeed wrong, and determine what can be done to learn from them to ensure that they are not repeated. Given the magnitude of this occasion and what was at stake, they thought it should make it clear to their supporters that public silence on our part should not be mistaken for inaction. To have nearly 22,000 Jambos inside Hampden Park was an incredible feat, and your support undoubtedly inspired the team on the pitch to battle until the very end, where against all odds it looked as if the players had earned the opportunity to take the match to penalty kicks, and deservedly so. The club has recently publicly declared that this season has not been good enough, and our intention is not to see it repeated." End of quote. So the Jambos, they're going on the warpath. I think we've seen fiery statements in the recent past. This is a wee bit tame from the Jambos. And make no mistake about it, right? I think a few decisions did go against Hearts in this game, but I don't think there's a decision in this game that is utterly mind-boggling and 127% wrong. There isn't. What have been some fucking horrific decisions this year? You think of Sam Dalby's goal against Hibs getting ruled out. Dyson Maida's goal at Easter Road when they had no proof. The Scottish League Cup final. Rangers recently in the Europa League. There's just every team gets affected, you know what I mean? And I think Hearts, they're right to feel aggrieved, but As much as I think Cammy Devlin shouldn't have been sent off, right? It's not the worst decision of the season, but I guess that's not really Hearts' point. Their point is more like, this has been a series of offences that's led us down this path, so fucking sort it out, SFA. Anyway, that's where we're going to leave it, guys. We'll be back later in some capacity. Review show is earlier on the day, and aye, till next time, peace.